Hi, my name is PeeJ, and today I'll be showing you how I integrate the OFX plugin Dehancer into my workflow for color grading. Dehancer has kindly reached out to me to review their tool, and it couldn't have been better timing as I'm slowly trying to get into filming things on my own, and Dehancer is a great addition to that. It allows me to emulate cameras that I don't own, and also gives me the ability to add a bunch of color grading effects that I wouldn't normally choose, like vignette, grain, halation, and bloom are all great additions that they have on this tool. So let me break down how I use Dehancer to make this color grade for this edit. Let's take a scene over here like this one. This is a nice scene to use, and let's go to our color page. So let's take a look at what I did to my footage in order to make the grade that I have here. These beginning nodes over here are just for me to white balance and saturate this image so it's looked in real life when I filmed it, just like that. All I did was up the saturation and balance the highs and the lows. Next, I added some more color grading, so it kind of gives it more of this paler look, as well as it makes the highlights a little bit hotter and the shadows a little bit cooler over here. And then next, I added a color space transform. So basically, I would do this in order to normalize all of the colors in this scene, so it prepares Dehancer for the effects that I'm going to use. And I just put it to Rec 709 because I don't believe they have the camera that I'm using over here. Let's turn on the Dehancer node, and as you can see, the grade has changed a lot and it looks pretty good to me, and I'll show you what I did to it. So if we go up to the settings over here, you can see all of the effects that are included inside of this Dehancer plugin. Specifically, the Dehancer Pro edition has all these bloom, halation, film grain, which you wouldn't normally get if you just have the Dehancer Lite. But Dehancer Lite comes with the film profiles or LUTs that give you that look that you would usually see in the camera. When starting off using Dehancer, you would go over and choose your source and choose your camera, but right now I don't have a camera that they have under here. It's because I use a Panasonic G85, which is Lumix, and they don't have that color space over here, so I'm just going to use Rec 709. And then you can go over here if we need to correct any exposure. You have these settings to do so over here, as well as temperature, tint, defringe, and all those other controls here. Next, we go to the film developer, and this will allow you to adjust more controls like the color boost and the color gamma correction, the color separation, and the color boost as well. If you need to do that, I just leave out the settings that they have already enabled. And then now we're going to go to the film, and this is where you can choose the profile that emulates which kind of camera that you want. The one I'm using right now is the Fuji Provia 100F, and that's the one I like the best when I was scrolling through all these already. But you can go down and choose any film profile we want, and it'll start to emulate that look of the camera that they have. So you can just choose one that you think is the best. Personally, I like the Fuji and the Kodak ones the best, because those are the ones that go best with the scene. But there are also a bunch of different types, so it's like other ones like the Polaroid, which this looks really nice if you're trying to do an old style. But yeah, I'm just gonna go over and use the Fuji Provia 100F over here. Another thing that I didn't use on this, but I should have used the film prints. And the film prints are the way that you get a really more cinematic look. They have a bunch of film prints over here you can choose and play around with, and that just gives it a little bit more film type of look. It looks really nice, especially along with the other effects that are on here. The next thing that I use in this scene is the film grain, so I'm just gonna open that up, and here you can choose which type of profile you want the film grain to use. It'll be different depending on which ones you choose. Usually the ones with the lower ISO and the lower millimeter will have less noise, and the more ISO you have up, the more noise will be apparent over here. And so the one I used was 35 millimeter with the 500 ISO because it gives it that nice grain texture over here. Next thing I used is the halation. So basically what halation is a little red glow around the highlights in your image, and I just chose one of the presets that they have over here, or you can use custom ones and adjust those manually just like that. And it's a little bit hard to see on this scene, but nice thing about this is Dehancer has also added a mask mode, so you only see the halation that is on here, and that's for certain tools like the halation and the bloom. So if you can adjust the bloom, you can see how much it is affecting the actual image, and just adjust the settings to your liking over here. And then if you want to increase it, you can go to amplify, and that just increases it or decreases it depending on which one we want. And we can also change the hue to have a different type of halation, but I just like to go with the preset 35 millimeter over here, and let's turn mask mode off, and you can see a little bit of the highlights over there with a little red glow. It gives it that nice little film look. Next thing I used and then took it off was the bloom. It adds a little nice glow around the highlights on the image, and if you want to add that, you can, and it gives you a really nice bloom as well as other bloom settings over here. They did a really good job with this tool, giving you the ability to customize your image to a great extent when choosing what you want to choose for your image. Next, we have the film damage. I didn't use, but it gives you that film look with little white overlay look that has over there. And we have our vignette over here where they give us some nice controls if we want to add that as well. Otherwise, they have a bunch of other tools that you could use and play with if you would like to get it. And overall, I'm really happy with the way this turns out. And then the last thing I did on this scene is I added a little hue change, so I get rid of a color that I didn't want to see in the scene. But other than that, this is how it looks. Dehancer would also like me to let you know that they also have an app on your phone that you can use to achieve the same effects I showed you here with all the film profiles and all these other effects. If you want to go see the full edit, I will post it on my alt channel in this video right here. If you're thinking about getting Dehancer, I do have a promo code that gets you 10% off. Just use code PeeJ when purchasing the product. Otherwise, hope that was helpful. Have a good day.